Today, we are talking about experience and how in the current state of the game, this system is so broken that it is time for Mojang to make a decision. And that decision is to decide whether to overhaul this whole system or to just retire experience as a whole. So I've actually made a video on this before, but I'd like to make another one to really drive home the point. I'm going to do this by showing you a design for a farm to really hone in on the big problem here. And I'd also like to go over some common arguments I heard and go a little bit deeper into why this is different. So subscribe if you like to see. I am, as always, Simply Sark. And does XP need retiring? Okay, so if you don't actually know what I'm on about, basically there is a new potion called a splash potion of infestation, which allows you to generate silverfish when mobs take damage. There is loads of reasons why this is a problem, but the biggest one is because of Allays. So with Allays, you can basically create infinite damage events. So if I place a couple Allays here, so let's just go with about 4. What's going to happen here is these Allays are actually never going to die because Allays actually have a really fast natural health regeneration, which means that they don't die if the damage is low enough. So were you to put a splash potion of infestation on these guys, this will actually create quite a few silverfish over time because the Allays aren't going to die and they're just going to generate more and more silverfish. One argument that I did hear quite a lot of is that Allays are actually quite expensive to get and to duplicate because you need like diamonds and like amethysts and stuff, which is a fair point. They are kind of an expensive mob. Here's the thing. You actually don't need Allays and there's a better way to do it. And that is because of armadillos. Now, at first, I thought this mob was kind of pointless, but they're actually proving to be kind of useful. So this works a little bit differently than with the Allays. So allow me to explain. So armadillos can't regenerate health. This is true. But when they go into this little bull state, when they're scared, they actually can block certain types of damage. So if a damage type is low enough, they actually won't take any damage. So when I hit him with like a punch or something, because this is only like half-hearted damage, he is not actually harmed by this action. In contrast, if I hit him with this netherite sword, even if he's in bull form, because the damage is high enough, that actually does cause damage and it will kill him. But we can use this mechanic in an interesting way. So this doesn't work in exactly the same way as with Allays because for some reason armadillos are actually afraid of fire. So if I just put him in bull form and put him onto this magma block, they actually get scared of fire damage and then just run off, which obviously isn't really what we're going for. But this is not true for things like wither roses. So if we do the same thing, scare him, and we put him onto the wither rose, if we can keep him in bull form, you can see that he is taking damage, but he's actually never going to die because the wither rose only inflicts about half-hearted damage as well. So essentially what we've done here is created an infinite damage machine. So the key thing here is to keep the armadillo scared. And there's a couple ways to do this. You can do it with running, minecarts, but obviously that's not really very practical. But what you can also do is just use any undead mob because they're scared of them. So if there is a presence of an undead mob like a zombie, then the armadillo in the vicinity will just go into a bull. And this is key to how this system works. Because if I actually put down some wither roses, then as you can see, we're creating quite a lot of damage events, and these armadillos will never come out of their balls. Now, they will poke their heads out, but that's kind of just to check if the coast is clear. They actually won't ever come out. Okay, so let me show you the design that I've come up with, and to be totally honest, guys, I think this really speaks for itself of why it's a problem. Okay, so this is literally it. This is the pinnacle of years of like Minecraft and like ingenuity. This is what it all boils down to. This is like the final design. So allow me to explain how this works. All right, so what we need to do is you just put a wither rose here and we use a zombified piglin because they're an undead mob and they're kind of handy because, you know, they don't burn the sunlight, but you can use any undead mob and we use like a little honey block so he doesn't run away. So then what we do is we use the armadillos. So I would actually personally recommend you have at least 8 armadillos, but you can choose, you know, whatever number you like. But 8 is quite good because you can get to level 30 like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 8 is the minimum you really need, and armadillos aren't really particularly hard to get in my opinion. So what's going to happen here is we actually have a stair here. And when we give these guys the potion of infestation, what's going to happen is they're going to just start spewing out silverfish, and they're going to get filtered into these two channels. So let's just demonstrate this in action. So as you can see, we start getting quite a few silverfish, and all we're going to do is come under here where the armor stand is and just start hitting. This will damage the silverfish and makes for an easy way to collect the experience. Alright, so now I really want to get a little bit deeper into why specifically this is a big problem, and I'd also like to address some of the common arguments I've heard about this as to why it's not a problem or why it's always been a problem. We'll talk about things like enderenders and zombie piglin farms. Alright, so I like to imagine a triangle. Alright, so here is our triangle, and there are 3 points on this triangle, as there generally are on triangles. We have speed, simplicity, and very importantly here, scarcity. So when we imagine something like an enderender or a zombie piglin farm, these are very good farms. They're very speedy, they're fairly simple to build, but there's one key element that they don't have, and that is scarcity. If you want to use these, if you want to build them, you have to go to a specific location, so the end void or the nether roof, and you have to build them here. So when you actually want experience, you have to go to a specific location to collect it. This is not true when we think about this mechanic, this farm. This farm right here, this mechanic hits all 3 points, and that is why it's an issue. It is really, really fast. It can be as fast as you like it. It is crazy simple to build. Let me just show you this, right? If I just take these trapdoors off. This is all the farm is. The footprint is tiny. It's like 4x4 or 4x5. It is so simple. And you can always make a point, an argument that enderenders, zombie piglin farms are also fairly easy to build. But this is just like a different level. And the most important part here is this can be built anywhere. You can put it here. If you want another one like 10 blocks away, you can build another one over here. See that village over there? If you want a source of XP, you can put one there as well. You don't have to go anywhere specifically. Experience becomes so abundant that it is just on tap 24/7. One thing that I heard quite a lot of is that this isn't the same. It's not an issue because this has a cost to use and most of the farms generally are free to use. This is kind of a non-issue because the resources that actually takes to create the potions are very cheap. They're stockpilable, and once you've got a big enough stockpile, this is essentially free anyway. Another thing I heard quite a lot of is that experience has been broken for a very long time. This isn't a new issue. Experience has been broken for a long time, but there were still some remnants of value in an experience system. Specifically in the availability, you still had to put a bit of effort into projects, so you had to go to places. There were restrictions on how you accessed experience. But when we consider mechanics like this does not have any restrictions. And it leads to a situation where experience generally does not have any point at all. The reason this is a problem is because we've got mechanics like enchanting, repairing, mending that are necessary. These are mechanics that the players really like to access. But then we have this obsolete system that at this point is just getting in the way. It's busy work that is blocking these other mechanics, but the XP system itself has really lost its way. Either do the system right, or just get rid of the system entirely and allow us to access these essential features more fluidly. Anyway, this is just my 2 cents. You can have your 2 cents as well. If you'd like to share your opinion, please do let me know. I really do value the comments I get sometimes. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, I have been Simply Sark, and I will catch you in the next one.